Welcome to our first YouTube video. We'll be doing our understair storage, and if that's something you're interested in, follow along. We're just going to be showing you the build process and our design. Just going to show you how we do it, and yeah. So yeah, first things first, I've built a frame for the understair storage, and how I do that is just cut down 18mm MDF into 70mm rails. So I just frame it all with 70mm rails, as you see here. I've got a blank panel here that I've made shaker style, because all the doors and drawer fronts will be shaker style also. So yeah, as you see here, it's understairs toilet. So this comes round, so that's why the panel's here. And then we'll have a push to open door here for access to the toilet. And then under here, we will be having two push to open drawers for shoe storage. I've put a base in here, I've levelled that all from my plinth height. So that will be supporting my frame for the drawers. So that'll be the next thing, we'll build a frame. All I do is follow this shape here. I just make it slightly smaller, 5mm all the way around, because you don't want to be struggling putting it in. So the frame just will hold the drawers. So I'll have drawer runners either side, and the drawers will slide in nicely. So yeah, all you do is cut your MDF down to 600mm width, and then build it all the way around using the angles and whatnot, and then put a centerpiece in as well to support your drawer runners. Okay, so I've got my cut list here. I'm going to cut everything down to 600mm width, but I've got all my lengths here just to make it a bit easier whilst I'm going. Just going to use a track saw to get my straight cuts. It's a lot easier with a track saw, but it's not a necessity. You could use a normal circular saw and a level, just clamp it down. You manage easy enough. So I've cut all my components for the frame, so now I'm just going to screw it all together. With it being MDF, it has a tendency to split, so you want to make sure you countersink first, and then pilot hole into the other material. So I'll pilot hole that now. And then when I screw it in, it won't split, and it'll give it a secure fixing. All screwed up, ready to fit now. So we've got the frame in now for our drawer boxes. I've made sure it's nice and level, and I've screwed in the sides and top just to secure it in place. So next thing is we're going to make the drawer boxes. So these drawer runners here are 700mm depth from Ironmongery Direct. They're ball bearing ones that just screw onto the side of the frame and then the side of the drawer box. So they're 12.5mm either side, so it's 25mm in total. You've got to allow for that on your drawer box. So whatever opening you have here, deduct your 25mm, and that'll be your size of your drawer box, your width for your drawer box basically. So we've got that width there. Height wise, I'm just going to take 10mm off the top, 10mm off the bottom, just to allow for a bit of wiggle room when I'm putting them in basically. So yeah, let's go and make them. So all the drawer box components are cut. I'm just going to assemble it now. As you see here, I'm just putting a bit of glue on just for extra support. And then same again, you want to make sure you've countersinked and then pilot drill into the other material just to stop splitting. Yeah, I'm drilling from the front just to ensure you won't see any of the fixings on the side, because the front gets covered. Yeah, it'll be covered with your drawer facing, and then obviously the back's at the back, so you've got no fixings along the side here. So yeah, you've got no fixings along the side here. And then the way I do my bottoms is, again, I'll screw it into the front and back, and then I'll pocket hole them from the bottom, so you won't see any fixings at all. You can screw in from the side if you haven't got a pocket jig, but you'll see the fixings, that's the only thing. Okay, so the drawer box is assembled. So now the drawer runners, all I do with them is I'll set my centre hole inside there to 60mm, and I'll set my centre hole on here to 50mm. So that raises the drawer box 10mm, gives you plenty of wiggle room in and out, whatnot. When you're screwing these in, you've got to make sure you're using small enough heads. So I use 3.5 by 16mm screws. If you use a bigger head, the ball bearing runners will catch, and you don't want that. So yeah, and then all you have to do, once you put your drawer runners on, is guide it into each runner. And push it in, make sure it goes in. So yeah, it fully extends out, so you've got full access to the drawer. And what we'll do is put a facing on here. Yeah, we'll put some push to open mechanisms on the side here. So when we push the front, it'll just push out to us about that much, and then you can just pull the rest of it open. There we are. I've got my final drawer box made up now. So yeah, same principle as making that drawer box with your shape and width and height. And then only difference is, so you've got your full panel this side where you'll have the access for your shoe storage. You've got 100mm strips top and bottom just to support the drawer. So they're permanently fixed shelves. And then if you want extra shelves, what I do is cut a shelf and put it in using shelf pegs. So you can set your height wherever your boot, shoes or whatnot land. So yeah, make it work to how you want it to work. So yeah, let's get this one in. Same again, just guide it in. And there you go. Works perfectly. So now we're happy with them drawer boxes. What we have to do then is make our drawer fronts and then our door for here. So we're going to make our drawer fronts now, and then how I do this is measure the width, and because I want a 3mm margin all the way around, I take 3mm off either side, so 6mm in total, and then a 3mm centre margin, so it gives me 9mm. So then I take the 9mm off my width and divide that by 2, that'll give me the width for my drawer fronts. I'll get them cut to somewhere near, and then show you how I mark the angle and the margins top and bottom. So I've got my drawer front cut to width now. All I do is put a couple packers on the plinth, sit my drawer front on top of the packers, and then I'll put my 3mm packer on the side also. And what you can do is mark your 2 corners tight to the filler on the top, and then you've got to deduct your 3mm also. So we'll get that cut now and it should be perfect. So I've got both drawer fronts cut in now. Got my 3mm margin all the way around, just using them 3mm packers. And yeah, I'll explain how I fix them to the drawer boxes now. So because I'm having a shaker style front, I've got 70mm rails going all the way around. So all I've done is come in 50mm from the side, countersink and screw into the drawer box, and then my rail will cover that fixing. So if you're happy just leaving your drawer front on, that way is fine to do it. Because I do want to take the drawer front off, I just find it easy to work on, paint on, put the rails on. What I'll do is open it up, make sure it's working fine, and then I'll put my fixings on the inside. So I'll screw on the inside, and once it's fixed on the inside, still working fine, I'll take these screws out then. So yeah, then it's just a case of unscrewing it from the inside to take it off and putting it back into the same holes, and it'll be perfect then. So yeah, I'll get the rails on, get it all sanded up, and then put it back on. So I'm just putting my rails on now. So I've got an 18mm door, and then all I'm doing is putting 9mm plant-ons. So I've cut my rails down to 70mm. My middle rail is actually 110mm, just adds a bit more detail. So all I've done is cut them down on my track saw, you can do that with a circular saw, sanded the edges, and then I've put a little round on it with my router. You can do that with sandpaper as well, though you don't need a router, just a bit easier, that is all. And then all I'll do is put some mitre glue on the back of it, all around the edge, all in the middle, spray the door, and then put it in place. Nice and tight. But yeah, my rails are all around my door. I'm also going to add this little bead around the shaker just to give it a bit more detail. So I'll get that on now. So I've got the rails on the drawer fronts. I've just used 70mm rails using 9mm MDF. I just stick them on with instant spray glue, just goes off straight away. And then I've used 9mm MDF because I've used this 9mm bead, so that sits nice and flush. Just a nice bit of extra detail. And I've put the push to open mechanisms on, so you literally just touch it and it kicks out just enough so you can grab it to open. Same here. Bosh. So I've made my door now. All I've done is followed that shape, allowing 3mm margin all the way around. And yeah, I'll just get the rails and the bead detail done on that, and it'll be ready to hinge. I've got all the facings on here. I've not hinged this yet because what I'll do is I'll take the facings off, take them upstairs in the spare room to paint. I'll use this Cinza bin, a shellac based primer, it's brilliant stuff it is. I'll get 2 coats on him. In between I'll put some 240 sandpaper on the edges, it'll get them to come up like glass. And then I'll put 2 top coats on them also. I think we're just going to go white on these. Yeah, so we'll get them painted. So I've got my drawer fronts all painted, I've painted the drawer boxes as well. I've also hinged this door here. I've used concealed hinges. I went with the 165-degree hinges because I've got a 27mm door. It just needs to be chucked out that little bit more. If you go for a normal size 18mm door, you'll get away with standard hinges, but yeah. So now it's all ready, we'll get it fitted. So that's them all fitted. We've got the push to open door here for the access to the understairs toilet. And we've got our 2 push to open shoe storage here. Yeah, I'll put a removable shelf in there as well, just to give us an extra layer of storage. And then we've got this one here as well, push to open again. Just more shoe storage. Bash. So yeah, if you liked the video and found it helpful, give us a like and subscribe, and yeah, plenty more content like this to come.